Live to be well. Live to be well with Dr. Kim, with Dr. Kim.
Good evening and welcome to Live to Be Well. It has been a minute. I've missed you all. Listen, call a friend. Let someone know that Live to Be Well is on the air. What is Live to Be Well? Mind, body, and soul. Well, we have a phenomenal broadcast tonight. I've been waiting to do this broadcast for about 4 weeks and coordinating schedules and making sure everything was in order, but God is faithful. So listen, I'm Dr. Kim, and it's all about Live to Be Well. Listen, I need you to know something, that domestic violence is not all right. It's not okay. And we're going to talk about it with an advocate, Candace Bone. And then we have an amazing woman who has an amazing organization who went through a personal story. She's going to tell her personal story. Then we're going to hear from ML6 and some of the things she has seen in her career and what she has reported in the news, and also what is going on in our world today. So let's talk about what is domestic violence. Have you ever been in a situation where you were abused mentally, psychologically, physically, sexually, even mentally? What about just, gaslighting? We need to talk about all these things. What about tech abuse? How many of you are familiar with tech abuse? We're going to talk about that too. But let's talk about domestic violence. Is the mistreatment of one family member or intimate partner by another. The abuse can be physical, sexual, verbal, emotional, and psychological. Most often, but not always, the persons who abuse are men. Most often, but not always, the victim of abuses are women of children. Now, one thing that I have found out in my practice of 41 years, mercy, where did time go? 41 years, men are being abused also, but they choose not to report it. Why? Because they are embarrassed, humiliated, ashamed. So they don't want to report that they have been abused by their partner or their spouses or someone that they are dating. When you begin to keep secrets of your own mental health, that is a problem. You cannot keep secrets when your life is in danger. What are the 7 types of domestic violence? Number 1, physical abuse. When someone takes their hands or they take an object and they physically abuse you, they hit you, and therefore it can cause you bodily damage. Psychological and emotional abuse is when an individual psychologically begins to torment you psychologically, and you begin to believe, oh, it's not me, it's not them, it's me. You're right. Cohesive control. Now this is something. Cohesive control is something that you deal with every day. When you talk about cohesive control, let me go here for a minute. Cohesive control. I found this to be very interesting. Cohesive control. Let's see. When someone intentionally tries to control you or make you behave in a certain way by doing or saying things that make you feel afraid, ashamed, anxious, unsure, or upset. Listen, tell someone that we are on the air right now. We are on the air and we are doing Live to Be Well. We are on the air doing Live to Be Well. All right, let's finish talking about some other things, okay? Welcome to Live to Be Well. Who do I see on the air? We got some people that are here. Okay, so we have financial and economic abuse. Now, that's when people toy or they try to use their finances to control you. Everything is done with control of the money or the purse. I control the purse strings. So you will do what I say, or you'll stay in the relationship because you have no finances. And that's a terrible place to be in. All right. Sexual abuse. When you talk about rape, when you talk about molestation, when you talk about when no means no, when someone says no, that means no. I don't, and even in a marriage, a relationship, that I don't want to have sex tonight. No. And the person forces themselves and they say, you will do this. I'm your husband. I'm your wife. All right. And then sex abuse becomes a tool that they use to manipulate or hurt you. Tech abuse. Oh my goodness. Tech abuse. We are seeing so many people lose their lives over technology, over social media. People are meeting people or finding out, well, that's my husband or that's my girlfriend. And they come to your job, they find out where you work, where you live. Next thing you know, there is a shootout. There's something that's happening, you know. And so, therefore, people begin to get hurt by what is happening on social media, the internet, tech abuse. And they're verbally abusing people, saying all kind of things and making up things about people. I remember seeing things about a judge and her husband that were not true about their lives, but they were very abusive towards them. And they had to do a lot of research to find out where these untruths were coming from. Harassment and stalking, harassment and stalking. All right, when someone is stalking you and harassing you. Well, listen, we want to bring in Candace Bone right now. Candace, come on in. Candace, come on in. We want to bring in.
Hey,
How you doing, Candace?
very
All
well. How
right,
are you today?
Candace, I want to give you the screen right now and tell us who you are and tell us what you do in domestic violence as an advocate. Talk to us.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. Hi everyone. I live to be well. It's a pleasure to be here. I am honored to have
Yes,
this
ma'am.
platform. As a
Huh?
survivor and experiencer of
Yeah, what's
domestic
up?
violence myself, I went on to become an advocate to help others who are in need. So, as an advocate of domestic violence, I assist individuals who are experiencing um, violence, whether financial, physical, mental, and finding places of safety, connecting them with agencies, connecting them with resources so they can go on to have safer lives. Assist them with providing them with information or support to get personal protection orders, as well as helping them be rehoused. Um, but mostly giving them a voice, letting them know that they are not alone. So that is one of the some of the things I do as an advocate of domestic violence. Right now, I'm on the board of the House of Cadence as a treasurer. And House of Cadence is a domestic violence agency that assists people
The 213.
within the Detroit area, Wayne County, basically, into finding places of safety and freedom as they are fleeing their relationship.
Enjoy what you do. Do you enjoy what you do?
Yeah, it comes with its perks. It's life.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, it is
What
life, and it's something I wanted to have when I had my situation about 15, 16 years ago. I just keep thinking of who I wanted in my courtroom, who I wanted at the police station.
mhm.
Um, and so that's who I like being um, at this point in time.
What are some of the most difficult stories that you've seen in this situations? Can you share any stories that you've seen?
Yeah, the difficulty is people don't know. A lot of victims blame themselves
Mhm.
and feel they are the reason that the violence has come their way. On average, it takes a person 7 times to officially leave that relationship.
Mm.
Just recently, I encountered an individual who experienced rape, and they didn't want to press charges because they said, well, I got drunk, so maybe I was complicit in it. And so they were so ashamed of the actions that they felt caused this to occur to them, that they didn't want to seek additional help.
Mm,
So that's always hard because that, as you said, people stay silent for so long, until they basically can't hide it anymore. They feel ashamed. So that's really difficult, um, because I know that fear of judgment and that fear of no one believing, um, and that fear of feeling like you're the blame, that keeps people so silent and trapped in that situation for so long. So those situations are difficult. Um,
okay.
yeah,
Okay. I want to bring ML6 in now for you all to have a conversation because you're young women. How do you protect yourself? Welcome, ML6. All right. Hey, can you hear us?
I say hi. Hi,
All
everybody.
right, there you are. Okay, I want to come out of the conversation for a minute, and I want you and ML6 to take some time to talk about what you have seen and be an advocate through radio, advocate through being a social worker, and young women. All right, let's dialogue about this, and then this femicide that we saw, 5 women being killed in less than 2 weeks. All right. So, Micah, let's start the conversation. All right.
All right, Candace. I'm just coming in. I'm sorry. I'm coming in from off the 405 and work. So, mommy kind of just threw me a wrench instead of giving me more time. But here we are. So, no, I'm
She
not
always
like
says about me.
that. But, so yes, we talked about. We saw over the last few weeks how all of these Black women have been getting killed by their spouses and or significant others, and we saw a shift, so to speak. We saw a dynamic. We saw language of how, oh, I feel sorry for him. And I don't necessarily feel, stop. I don't necessarily, it was the language of feeling sorry for the man. And the man, specifically speaking about the situation that happened in DC, he killed his wife and himself, and the son finds them. There's no empathy for the wife and the children, but it was everything about this man because he was a bruh and
hmm
because he served in office, but he killed his wife
that
and
part,
his children found the mom. Why are we
that part,
celebrating? And even let's go as far as even talk. And I love Roland Martin, but the way that Roland Martin went about it was totally disingenuous to the fact that this Black woman, educated or not, but she was very educated, who had been dealing with domestic violence with this man. The receipts were there, but getting all the empathy, so to speak, because Black man, bruh, political woo wop. Nah, we're not hearing that. We're seeing sons killing mothers. We're seeing all types of things happening, and it's happening at a rapid rate. And a lot of it is to say it's because Black men don't have outlets to talk and communicate. Black men don't have um, their ways to be providers, and they're not raised to share their emotions. And I guess my question is, at what point do I got to continue as a Black woman helping you become the man? So
that
I,
part.
because why can't you ask me for my number and I tell you no and it just be that? Why you gotta call me out my name? Why I gotta be a bitch? Like why I gotta be that?
Exactly. Even looking at online chatting, right, with recent celebrity breakups,
Mm-hmm.
um, the negativity going towards that woman from the men, right? So and so dodged a bullet. She must be hood. She's been ran through. She's been ABCD.
When she's probably
Um,
got less partners than the average person.
that part, right? Than the average man. And, this I'm seeing the feud between women and men over this relationship that has fallen apart. And it is, yeah, he should have, it's so much negativity,
Yeah.
right? Against her from the men. And I say, what has happened, black man, for you to be so angry at the black woman,
Mm-hmm.
right? When she does speak out, when she does have the power to leave a relationship that's no longer serving her good or whatever, where she's no longer feeling respected, why are you so mad at her? I mean, you could stay silent, keep your mouth shut. You don't have to comment on it, but you're all in the comments, saying everything against her, um, as if she is the problem. And it's so
Or
negative. I mean, it's so hurtful.
as if she's their problem.
As if she is their problem. Like you could tell they're speaking from a place of anger, and
And
what
hurt. Like,
drives
who
anger
hurt
is
you,
hurt.
baby? Who
Who, re-
rejected you? Who didn't
who
want you?
rejected you? Who left you? I mean, my social work brain goes back to, oh my God, how's his mom? What does his
Yeah, what
mom
did
do?
your mom do? Yeah,
Because where is this targeting?
yeah.
Um, yes, there's men who want the black man to succeed. I mean, I want the black man to succeed. Like, let me lift you up. Let me see you prosper. Let me see you get off the hood. Let me see you be professional and whatnot. But at the same time, um, I'm gonna call you out, right? As you make your steps to the top and you step on the backs of these women on your way. The whole thing of I don't want to lose everything or financial control. I see and I said, and it's scary because looking at those comments, they're worse than looking at the comments during a political fight for rights. And you're like, ooh, I chimed in on somebody's wrong political page that doesn't support my political beliefs. This is how everybody else thinks. Okay, noted. That's how those comments were, where I felt like I had to screenshot every man that made a comment and say, let's put him on a board to make sure none of my women,
Right.
none of my friends, like, girl, watch out for him because this is what he thinks in his heart, right?
Yeah.
He is not that. So, um, yeah, I think of what hurt them. But even still, but yeah, there is a lot of sympathy. The first thing they said, oh, what does she do? Even for the women who have died, what did she do? Oh, she tried to get rich off of him, and she decided to leave him when she got to the top, all that stuff. But that still doesn't give you the right to take someone's life or
Ever.
just their freedom. I mean, there's always a better way, than you dying, being locked up, or whatever the case. There's a better way. So I wonder, how do we get to this point where it's my life, no one else can have you? And like you said, if I say no, I mean, as a single woman, I have fear. I don't even make eye contact in a grocery store or
Mhm.
something because I'm like, yeah, I don't want to have that encounter. Like, no, no,
And
thank
that's
you.
sad. But we're gonna bring in Sheila White. She's gonna bring in some her perspective as well. Because it's really sad that you gotta give the number and then they call it and then you gotta block it. Like, why can't I just say I'm not interested? And my thing has always been like, oh, I'll be like, oh, I got a dude, and then they be like, can you have friends? And so then I hit them with, if your woman was out here and a man approached her and asked her this, would you be okay with it? Yeah, get on somewhere,
Get home. Bye.
get on. But I shouldn't have a fear of telling a man, no, I don't want to give you my phone number. I should be able to walk around as a black single female and say to you, sorry, sir, I'm not interested. And you say, that's okay, sis, I appreciate it. Have a blessed day. Not threaten me with a bottle, call me out my name, do all of these things. And more women are fearing that. And they wonder why. They wonder why we choose the bear. Why we chose the bear.
Why we chose the bear.
They wonder why we choose the bear every single time. I don't know if either of you ever saw on social media. It was like a year or two ago, and they were like, if there was one thing that you could do to feel safe, what would it be? And it would be like, no man for 24 hours. Or if you didn't have a man for 24 hours, what would you be able to do? And women were saying all the things that they would be able to do without a man being present, from jogging in the park, from walking at night, going to their car at night, if they forgot something, not being fearful of it. Was just so many things. And then fast forward to this year, you have a website full of men that are telling other men how to SA women.
Wow.
thousands of men on this website getting advice on how to SA women. I'm choosing the bear. I'm choosing the bear.
Oh,
I'm
mercy.
choosing the bear. Lions, tigers, bear. Oh my, bring them
my.
all. Oh my, bring them all.
All right. Well, listen, I want to bring in a dear friend. We go back many, many years. She's been with me with different programs. I've been with her. And when I first heard her story, I was just devastated. I was in tears. Tonight, I've invited her to come back to share her story and tell us who she is and what has happened in her life since the tragedies in her life. Welcome, Sheila. How are you, dear?
Okay, Dr. Kim, how are you, love?
I'm good. Well, listen, we're going to turn it over to you to tell us what happened in your family, and then tell us about your program, and then we're going to share your book towards the end. So why don't you tell us your story?
Okay. But first I just wanted to mention while they were talking, the young ladies, that I saw this study. It said, according to a 2025 study by the Violence Policy Center, Black women are killed by men at twice the rate of their white counterparts. So, what you're saying makes sense. We are, it's so much more violence on us than any other race.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to what you were saying, both of you beautiful young ladies, that there's a lot of mental illness, mental health. What happened to you when you were younger? It's just, I'm glad we're talking about it.
Okay.
To bring it out to the forefront.
Oh, definitely.
But I'm president of my organization. It's called Her Cries Are Heard. And the reason why we called it Her Cries Are Heard is because our sister, we saw so many signs, but we were so involved with our own lives that we didn't hear her cries. She never told us that she was in an abusive relationship. We just thought that she was just having marital problems. But in 1991, my beautiful sister, she was murdered by her husband. This guy, he was abusing her every night. We didn't know that this was happening until the neighbors told us after she was murdered. He would go to my mom's house. He had so many red flags. He would always lose his job. And my mom was trying to help him out, and she would give him odd jobs around her house. And she just didn't know that he was going home abusing her daughter every night. It's like, don't you have a conscience? But, So after that, 1991, he stabbed her 11 times. He didn't shoot her. He stabbed her, and that's even more demonic to me. To take a knife in, to attack someone with a knife. And in 2012, my niece was murdered by this guy who followed her home from a party. The witnesses said in the courtroom that he walked up to my niece, and he was following her at the party. He sat down. She sat down with him for a few minutes, and she got back up, and he ended up just following her home, and he murdered her. He stabbed her 60 times. Oh. First time she ever met this guy, never knew this guy. So we were just devastated. We couldn't understand. And unfortunately, he stabbed her right on Mother's Day, which is coming up. So Mother's Day is always hard for us. Mm-hmm. The night before she was murdered, she called her sister, her mom, who was my sister. And she said, "Mom, you're so hard to get to shop for. I'm going to come over tomorrow on Mother's Day, and I'm going to take you out to lunch. And we're going to go over to Auntie Sheila's house, me." But her hairdresser was giving a party, and she really didn't want to go to the party, but she decided to go. And that's when she met the guy who was going to kill her. So that just devastated our family. We had so many things going on. And I think at the time, my other sister had went to Dr. Kim to even talk to her. Mm-hmm. It was just too much, and finding out the first time was bad enough, but to have two people in our family murdered, that chair at the table is empty now. Mm-hmm. We still are going through grief counseling. It's something that we never forget. We just learned how to live a new normal. But after my niece was murdered, about a week after, another lady was murdered. by her boyfriend. And then a month later, another lady was murdered. Within 2 years, there were 60, I'm sorry, not 60 women murdered by either a boyfriend or a spouse. And some of the women were murdered in front of their children. And some children were also murdered with their parents. So at that time, I just told my two sisters, that we have to do something. We don't want anybody else to go through this tragedy that we went through and we're still going through. So in 2016, we started an organization called Her Cries Are Heard. And I just explained why we called it Her Cries Are Heard. And basically, we're not a shelter, we're a referral service. So I'm gonna get in touch with you, Candace, because I might be referring some people to you.
Bring them on.
Okay. But yeah, so we are a referral service, and I go to different events and I speak to people and I talk to them about what we went through. And just like you, Candace, we're turning our pain into purpose. If we can just help one person, that would be a blessing. Like I said, we have went through, we suffered shock, we suffered grief and anger and denial. It was just so many, depression. My nephew still has anxiety attacks from that, and guilt. That guilt, we should have been there. We should have talked to them more. Suicidal thoughts. My sister was calling me saying that she wanted to kill herself. It was just, when you just be these two perpetrators, these two guys, you can ruin a whole family, but we were strong enough that we held on to each other. But you can really destroy other people's lives by the choice that you made, because you have some sort of insecurities and some problems going on in your life, and you decide to snatch a person away from their family. So I commend you, Candace, for getting away. At least you got away, and you're helping other people, and we just went through so much. But now God's turning our pain into purpose, and we're not just surviving, we're thriving now. I go to different events, I speak at different churches and different organizations. I tell my story just to let other people know that they're not alone. And just like Dr. Kim said, that suffering in silence, oh my goodness, we can't do it. My sister kept everything hidden from us. The only reason how we just thought they had problems, like I said, but she kept a diary since she was 8 years old. And I had an opportunity to read that diary. But it was so painful though. She talked because I never understood why my sister would stay with him. And in the diary, he told me if I left that he would kill my family. So she was trying to protect us, but never talked about it. Just never said anything. So I just, silence, it just makes violence just expand. It will continue. You gotta talk to people, and that's my hope, to just I tell people, talk to people. Don't keep it silent.
Sheila and Candace, how do women today trust, and men trusting women? How do we trust today? I get that question often. ML6, come on in. How can we trust today? And we see so much brokenness. Candace, ML6, how can we trust today men who approach us?
Yeah, you don't. It's just you have a different level of discernment. You just have to pray for discernment. You don't. You don't. I mean, and trust is something that can be so easily broken. You come into a situation and you don't want to ever bring an old situation into a new situation. You don't ever want to bring that, but there's an honesty that has to be there. And I am under the belief that you never tell the new one what you allowed the old one to do to you, because you don't think that they can do the same thing to you and get away with it. But there's a level of, you're going to always have a guard up. It's be guarded. You are discernment. And you really just have to walk and being aware, stop being naive out here. If someone shows you who they are, you got to believe them. If you see a red flag, know that there's 10 more. Have a friend that says, if you see something, times it by 10.
Times it by 10.
Times it by 10. The
Mhm.
probability of that being true is accurate because if they'll do this, they'll do this. And there shouldn't be, there's a level of desperation.
A red flag.
There's a level of desperation in a lot of women. And it's one of those things like, yes, it's okay to be wanted. We understand you want to be desired. We understand that you don't want to be alone. You want companionship. You want all of these things, but don't be stupid.
Mhm.
Like you don't have to welcome that into your space because you're lonely and because I promise they will sniff it out. There are men that can sniff it out, and they do it to successful black women who feel like, I don't need you to pay my bills, I don't need you to do this, I don't need you to do this, I just need you to keep me company. And they're gonna be that keep you company to the point where you make you feel like you didn't work hard to get what you got, because you're looking at them like they're the prize. They think that they're the prize for you because all you needed in your life was a man. And I have this philosophy. I don't think that all men are bad. Just like I don't think that all men cheat, because my daddy didn't cheat and my daddy wasn't bad. And so I can't say all. And I know my daddy wasn't perfect, but one thing about me, I don't let no man talk to me crazy because my daddy didn't talk to me crazy. The minute a man starts talking to me crazy, the way that I shut down, because you don't got to talk to me like that. That's not how I hear. And the way I will put you on mute and never talk to you again, I'm very good for that. So I think we as women just have to know who we are before welcoming in a man into our space so that we can be like, no, 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 no. That doesn't sound right, look right, feel right, smell right. Nah, you're not it. And then ask the question, who sent you? Who sent you?
Okay.
Like, and that's a real question. Who sent you? Because was it my father? Was it God that sent you? Or was it the enemy that sent you?
Right.
Yes.
And you
There's
had
that ongoing joke,
and determined to know the difference.
right? Yeah,
Okay.
there's that ongoing joke that's going across social media saying the next guy I date, guy has to sit on the foot of my bed and say, my homeboy wants to talk to you,
Listen to
right?
me.
That's how clear it has to be. How do you trust?
You trust.
As ML6 said, you have to be whole with yourself, because you have to make sure you're not attracted to what you feel is missing
Mhm.
within you, right?
Very important.
Um, I mean, time has shifted, race talks have shifted, but when I was younger, I was told I was beautiful, but I always forget I was beautiful for a black girl or to be so dark. And so there was times in my mind I was saying I was not pretty enough, right? So when a guy would say, "Oh, you're beautiful," right? Outside of my immediate bubble of circle, I was like, "Oh, me, you're choosing me," right? And so I was missing the smoke and mirrors. But yes, I think the walls, because I had to tell somebody recently because they said, "Hey, I think you're mean," and of course I'm like, I'm not trying to be the angry black woman, but I thought about it and I said, I am no longer, my boundaries make you uncomfortable, and I'm no longer dedicating my time to make you comfortable, right? So I
Mhm.
speak more
Mhm.
because, as Sheila said, talk, talk, talk. I
Mhm.
got the power in my relationship to lead when I started telling people
Mhm.
and telling. I just kept talking about it, right? And I kept talking to, even on that, big platforms, like, this is what happened, because I felt like I had a more of a support, but I also felt like I had a mirror coming back at me saying, this is what you've spoken, so move forward and lead, right?
Mhm.
Stay away. Um, so that's what I say to trust. Like, be whole within yourself, right? Find out why you are attracted to that person. Take your time. I
Mhm.
mean, that's all we have, right? And then that's also what we don't have. Take your time.
Mhm.
Don't follow someone else's ideas of what a relationship should move like, what time you should be married, how soon you should be having children. I mean, I remember doing COVID and there was a Live to Be Well episode, and ML6 said, "Why settle?" Because people were
That's
saying, "Why
it.
aren't you
Yeah.
married? Why aren't you this?"
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
looked up at the TV. I said, "Exactly. Why?" I was like, it's just a key, but it's like, why?
Right.
Why are we pushing? Because thinking that you have to match whatever, maybe you should have a white picket fence and a 3-story home and everything. That is always going to, living up to somebody else's idea of what should be. It's always going to make you feel incomplete. So you will have your eyes open, or you'll be vulnerable. You won't have your eyes open to what the wolf is that's in sheep clothing, you know. So yeah, so be whole within yourself. That's how I would say trust, because if you trust that beautiful intuition that we have been blessed with, it never lies. It will tell you this. I mean, a lot of people leave relationships for the very first thing they saw on the second date with that person. It comes up maybe 5 years later, and they kept tolerating it and pushing it to the side. So just listen to that intuition and say, you know what? This doesn't feel right. And this isn't trauma making it not feel right. This is something within me not feeling right. So just lean into that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
Well,
okay.
you know,
It's going
I
to be
think
okay.
you guys did good with it. How do I trust when you talked about God? And if it wasn't for God, I would have lost my mind. So, um, true, we have to keep praying and trusting in God that He will send us the right person, or maybe He might not send us the right person. Maybe we just make us comfortable being single. But but God will show you the red flags. He would show you how to set up boundaries. We can't, never get too lonely that we would just put up with anything. Because if we do, we would keep attracting those same familiar spirits,
Yes, yes.
over and over again. So
Mm.
just my trust is in God.
In God. Sheila and Candace, we're going to be having Mental Health Day at the City Temple Seventh-day Adventist Church this fall. And I'm
Okay.
looking forward to Sheila doing a workshop for us, Candace.
Mhm.
My pastors asked me to speak, and then we're going to have a wonderful fellowship dinner, and we're going to really deal with these issues of mental health. I want to go to some of the responses that people made on our social media page. If Al, you could bring that up, please. We asked the question because even you said when is enough enough? I remember when Micha was about 4 or 5. We had gone to a play, and I pulled up into our parking area. And Micah said there were 2 men walking past, and they had on suits. And Micah said, "Mommy, don't get out of the car. Mommy, don't get out of the car." And I said, "Oh, they're okay." Got out of the car. They attacked me. And I told Micah, "Run, run." And she was knocking on people's doors, and no one could hear her. And I jumped, and they were beating me so bad. But when one went to touch Micah, I became like a tiger. I became like a lioness, and I attacked them, took off my 6-inch stiletto heels, and I beat them so bad in their genitals. They said, "Man, she is crazy." I said, "Don't you touch my baby," And I'll never forget that. So from that day forward, I'm very mindful of my surroundings. I have been, and I thank God. But that was an experience of that abuse. And I
Wow.
remember one time I was dating this gentleman, and I was teaching a class with professional boxers. And I told the gentleman I was dating at the time, "Just give me 5 minutes to close out my class." I walked back towards the back of the classroom, and there was a kitchenette, and he punched me in my stomach. He said, "Don't you ever make me wait." From that moment on, I knew, and the boxers got up because they heard me go, "Oh." And I said, "No, your hands are registered. You cannot." But I called my father and my brother. And my father said, "If you ever let this man back in, or you go out with him again," my father said, "Don't call me, because he's going to do it again." That day, I made up my mind that man will never put his hands on me again. And I ended that relationship. 28 years later, I asked God, if there's anybody I offended, let me know. If anybody's offended me. I was sitting at my desk at work. My phone rang, and it was him. I had not spoken to him all those years. He said he woke up this morning, and the Holy Spirit told him to call me to apologize because now he is married and has 2 daughters. He can't even
Mhm.
imagine someone doing that to his wife and daughter. Kim, I humbly apologize. And he said, now I know why we broke up. I said, because I was never coming back. And that is something that a lot of women do and men. They go back
Mhm.
thinking it's going to change. Let's read the question. And I'm being transparent here tonight because I know I could have lost my life, my child, but God
Mhm.
spared it for such a time as this. All right.
Yes.
Hey, I just want to say something. When that incident happened with my mother and I had a dream that was going to happen. Like exactly how it happened. I had a dream, which is why I was able to say to her, "Don't get out the car." And that's not the first time. That's what I'm saying. You have to understand. This is when you're understanding your spiritual gifts come into play
Mhm.
and having that relationship and connection with God. And
Mhm.
because I know that I'm a dreamer, which comes with its own set of stuff that I rather not get into, but
Mhm.
that was at the age of 8 that I saw it.
Wow.
Yeah, she was 8
And
years.
so, and from that, my dad used to always tell me that your instincts are heightened. I can
Mhm.
walk around downtown LA at any time of the night, but when I tell you
Mhm.
I'm so aware. Like I know that not to have my hood on because it's going to mess up my peripheral, so I can't. I can feel somebody walking behind me, so I will walk to the side so I can see them. Like
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? It's just certain things that as a woman that you have to be aware of. And I
Yes.
told him like, hey, don't walk so close to a woman. You're not.
Mhm.
Some men aren't even conscious of it. Like don't
Mhm.
do that, especially at night. I had one man. He was like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm walking behind you. And I was like, I know, but thank you.
Yeah.
His mama raised him right.
Right.
Mhm. Yes.
Right. Right.
So
Okay.
that's to go back to what my mom saying. It's I've had a discerning spirit since I was young.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I bet you listen to me next time.
Nah.
That's why I got
That
to
is
watch.
a gift.
It's a
That
gift.
is a gift. Yep,
Yes.
it is. Mhm.
And, all right, Al, bring up the question so we each can read a comment, please. Yes, we have some good responses, and thank you everyone who are online right now, viewing, listening. You can jump in too if you have a question for Sister Sheila or Candace or ML6 or myself, or a comment, or if you've been through something. All right, we are here to help. All right, what warning signs should you never ignore when it comes to domestic violence? All right, let's read our first one. All right, Marlo Reed, thank you. Increased aggression, intense anger, direct and indirect threats, all red flags. Okay. Candace Rochelle Latson,
Say that again.
what is her comment she read? Can you read? Can you see that?
For
Yes,
verbal abuse.
verbal abuse. Okay. Um, Sheila, Rhonda said,
Gaslighting. That's what I got in my book too. Gaslighting. It's horrible.
that is. All right, Candace, go back to Leah Chapman.
Leah says, I guess the tough part is that the early warning signs oftentimes don't look hurtful. They are complete opposite, but they are a lure to entrapment. But if
Mm,
you are looking for overt signs, you need to know all of your whereabouts, tracking you, deterring you from your desire to be with family and friends, and also trying to paint them in a negative light in hopes of isolating you and creating a dependency. As she said, there's so much. Leah is one of our really great therapists, so she has seen a lot. She said there's so much more as far as red flags, but sadly, there is. So yeah, those are key signs to look out for.
Micah, Lena.
Isolation, needing all your time and attention.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah, that goes back to that gaslighting, or also that cohesive behavior where I've got to have all of your time. Definitely. Sheila,
Mhm.
let's talk a little bit about gaslighting. Share with us about gaslighting and Candace.
Oh, gaslighting. It's so funny. That was a Jeopardy clue. Um, this recently saying a 2022, term. Um, Gaslighting is making you believe, right? There's something you've done wrong, when you haven't, right? So, such as, why are you always disrespecting me, right? Or you don't seem to focus enough on this family, right? So that is setting up your mind as the victim of that to try to fix that situation that you didn't even know you were a part of. um it is that belief, so you're fighting your reputation, or something. They're making you feel like you've done something wrong, when you haven't. But they are triggering or tackling the things they know you find important, such as your children or your family or your job, something, that they could ease in and say, um, you are, I never considered you as a great employee, right?
Mhm.
Just something like that, that just starts messing with your psyche,
Mhm.
enough where it starts, pulling you apart. So that's a form of, those are examples of gaslighting.
Al, put up the definition of gaslighting for me. I was talking to Al earlier, and we were just looking at this gaslighting definition. All righty. Gaslighting is a form of persistent psychological manipulation and abuse where a perpetrator causes a victim to question their own reality, memories, or perception. If you've never seen the movie Gaslighting with Ingrid Bergman, that movie was so powerful, and how he persuaded her and manipulated her own reality. And that's like someone persuading you to disbelieve what you know is right, and you begin to question yourself and say, "Oh, did I do that?" Or I know I laid that there. And they do things to, alter your thinking. Sheila, give me some feedback.
And I think I was going to say manipulating too. Also,
Mm,
gaslighting is really prevalent when you're asking a person, why did you do this, or and they just throw it back on you, and they really try to make you feel bad. They really get upset when you ask them questions and you question why. Why did you leave? Why did you hit me? Why did you slap me? And you immediately think, they make you think it's your fault. That's why I slapped you. You shouldn't have got up in my face.
mm. Now it's my fault.
So
It's all my fault.
it's my fault now. It's my fault. Oh, and so then and like I said, they do manipulate you to think that I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that to you. I shouldn't have spoke out or spoke up.
Hmm. Micah, let's talk about what's being seen now on social media. You talk about a lot. Everything that you see is not what it appears, but people are being, mind controlled by social media. They want to look like what's on social media. Get a man on social media. Get any. It's just taking over people's minds. Let's talk about that, and what can we do to protect women and men from the abuse of technology on social media.
I just want people to really understand that social media is a highlight reel to people's lives. It's not their everyday life. It's not their downfalls in a lot of cases. Now, there's some people on there that will get on there and that's all they talk about is their downfalls. Okay, salute to them. God's blessings to you. I hope that turns around for you. But for the most part, a lot of it is fluff. And then you add in the extra of the AI. I can post a picture that I'm in another country and Photoshop in an AI, a man, and have everybody thinking that I got this whole relationship and it's all goals and so forth and so on, and it's fake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we got to stop. It's good to celebrate. I'm all about celebrating Black love in every capacity. But we cannot look to these couples as quote unquote goals, because the reality situation is we do not know what they're going through, what we don't see. And
Mhm.
there's so much of what we don't see. And not
Mm-hmm.
everything is what it posts to be. And by when I say that is not everything is what is posted. It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to look good. It's supposed to look great until it doesn't. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have people who are out here trying to emulate that, be it in relationship, career, family, whatever.
Mhm.
Whatever. It's
Mhm.
like social media And this is what they want. It's this unrealistic lifestyle.
Right. And so
It's being consumed with what everybody else is doing.
yes.
And so you're looking at this relationship like, oh, I want my man to do this, I want my man to do that, da 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 da. But that's not the man you're with.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the man you're with. And so you're bringing this to him, and then you making him feel less than, or you're bringing it to her, and you're making her feel. That's like a man coming to me, and if a man wants a certain person, long hair, woo, I'm bald. Like, what you want? Like, if you want a bald shorty, then I'm your girl. But if not, there's nothing I can do for you, and I'm not that. I am me, and that goes back to saying. You have to, we as women have to know and be secure in who we are, that nothing, be it social media, be it in your face, can ever come and change how you feel and look about yourself. No, I'm not pretty for a dark-skinned girl. I'm just pretty. Period.
Yes. Amen.
Period.
You know,
I don't want to be no other color but this. I'm pretty.
Right,
Like it is what it is. I'm confident in that. And I just want to encourage anybody else out there. Don't let nobody come and tell you who you are. It's easy to do if you don't know who you are. Figure out who you are, so you don't let no man, no woman, no nothing come in and try to tell you about yourself. Because you're going to be so confident who God has called you to be that you're not going to. You're going to see that walking red flag and be like, who sent you?
That's right. That red flag. All right. That's my child, Sheila. That's my child. See, all right.
I know she is. God is good, though. What a blessing. She's speaking the words. She's telling it.
Yes. Sheila, give us closing remarks, and then we'll go back to Candace, ML6, and I'll close it out. Sheila, closing remarks, and thank you so much for being with us. And we got to have you back to talk about. We want to show your book. Let's talk about your book.
Oh, okay. Well, the name of me and my friend Judy Prentice, we wrote this book called Domestic Violence: No Excuse for Abuse, and it's a short read, and it has a checklist. It talks about all of the different forms of abuse, like Dr. Kim was talking about, the physical, emotional, and verbal, and we have a checklist in the book that lets you know that you're in an abusive relationship. So, you know, it's on this page right here. And also it's a children's book too, because my heart is for the children. So the first part of the book talks about the impact that domestic violence have on adults. And then the second part talks about, has scenarios for the children. Because children grow up in abusive relationships and they think it's okay. That what they see at home, and we're letting them know that's not okay. And we're asking them, how do they feel? So it's a very good read, and all of the proceeds go to shelters, because a lot of those women do go back to, not a lot, but some of them do go back to their abusers. So we give them free copies of this book. So 100%.
Sheila, I'm going to be having book reads at the Fisher Building, and I definitely will be featuring your book and you. And your partner.
Oh, thank you.
And we're going to have women come and, refreshments. So I just found out that I can use this room in the Fisher Building because I'm a tenant. So we're going to set up 6 reads per quarter and invite people in, and then have a book signing for you. And that'll be such a blessing. Awesome. We're going to make it happen.
Thank you so much. Yes.
ML6, thank you, Sheila. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
I know. It's been years.
I know, but
we've been friends for years.
But
God is good. He connected us. He connected us.
And when I called you and you inboxed you were right there ready. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kim.
ML6, my child, my firstborn.
Oh no, Candace is back.
All right, Candace. Closing remarks, Candace, on tonight's program.
This is wonderful. Hopefully we continue to push this conversation forward. For those who are suffering, you're not alone. There are resources, there are national organizations, even the ones that are for Black women. There's UGMA, there's the House of Cadence, there's Supreme Transitions, there's so many, even Sheila's organization. So please reach out. Even if you don't think you're ready to leave, just start getting your voice heard. And let somebody be present to just guide you and be a person of support. So please just continue to reach out for help.
Mm. ML6.
You don't have to stay in anything that doesn't serve you.
Oh,
If it does not serve you, walk away from that thing.
that is powerful. That's
Amen.
powerful. I appreciate that. Well, all I have to say is that be accountable to yourself, be compassionate to yourself, love yourself. Like you all have said, know who you are and whose you are. We belong to God.
Yes.
And we don't have to settle, Candace. We don't have to settle. And Sheila, we must know the God of Israel and understand that relationship. And so, therefore, with that, I'm going to be intentional about how I treat myself and how I allow others to treat me. I will not allow you to verbally, physically, mentally, psychologically. You are not going to abuse me because I love me. And once you learn how to love you and accept who you are, look at us. We are some beautiful women.
Yes.
We just happen to be African American women with different hues, but we are beautiful and we have a lot to bring to the table. So I thank God for all of you. Now, on the count of 3, you must say, live to be well. And we're going to say goodnight and stay on as we go to the back room to have prayer. Amen. So
Amen.
1, 2, 3, live
to be well.
God bless you and good night. See you in a couple of weeks.
Good night. Okay.